I bought this saw new almost 20 years ago. I've been using it almost every day since then. It has become a fixture in all of my build videos that I've made here on YouTube. And even though it's still working, I've decided to replace it. And I'll be replacing it with this one right here. I've had this for a few years, although I haven't used it. Recently, I did a project and I used it quite a bit. And I realized that this works better than my old one, mainly probably because my old one is getting a little bit worn out. Now, even though these saws have the same functionality and capacity, they're both sliding dual compound miter saws with 12-inch blades. They're not exactly the same size. The new one has a slightly wider base and it's not as tall as the older one. To make the new saw fit, I need to take off the right side wing and cut it shorter. I measured the left side wing as well, and that's okay. I don't have to cut that one. There's a self-adhesive tape on the wing and it's made from steel, so I don't want to cut through that with the saw. I'm just going to score it and snap it off. One problem I have with the way this is set up that's different from the other one is the dust collection pipe that comes out the back here. It's actually made so it slides through this frame here when you pull the saw back and forth. So I can't just cut it off and join a hose in. It'll get hung up inside this hole. So I have to try to get something attached out here. However, there's not a whole lot of room back there. These saws are the same depth from the face of the fence to the back, but the hose pickup on the Hitachi is up on top, whereas this one's back here. I'm thinking that I can use this 90-degree, the plumbing fitting, and get that put on there so that it's sticking up. And I have a rubber coupling that connects the hose to the Hitachi that should fit right on this 90-degree fitting. As it is right now, the pipe won't fit into the fitting that I have. And also, it'll actually be a little bit too long when I put the 90 on there if I leave it this length. So I'm going to cut about 1 inch off the end. And to try to make it fit inside the fitting, I'm going to recut the pipe where it's joined together in 2 halves here, so that it'll close together tighter, and hopefully it'll fit. Along with slitting the pipe to make it close together more, I'm also going to use a very coarse file on the outside to try to get this 90-degree fitting on as far as it will go. And then I'm going to use some glue to keep it there permanently. Also, a benefit of the glue is that it actually makes it slip on there easier. Here's another problem with the old saw. The return spring is either weak or the pivot is corroded enough so that it's seizing up and it's not coming up on its own. I can get this out of here. I just need to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I mean, it still works. Oh! Another difference with this saw is that the bed is not as tall. And I figure the easiest way to determine how much I need to build it up is just to put it in place, and then I can measure the difference. And as it turns out, it's almost exactly 3/4 of an inch, which is the same thickness as this piece of plywood that I have. All right, so that looks good. I'll have to take the saw out again so that I can fasten those blocks down to the support here. But before I do that, I need to make sure it's situated properly, so I'll get the blocks in the right place. And, well, primarily I need space at the back here to make sure that my new outlet is clear with the saw pushed all the way back. And right now I have about a finger's width there. So I'm going to make a parallel to the station. And also I don't want to move these tapes. So I'm going to measure over to the blade and make that line up with the 12-inch mark on the tape that's in the thing. And that way it should be the same on the other side or close enough. I got full range of motion and almost everything looks good here. The one thing that I think may turn into a problem is the hose connection at the back. The hose is pretty heavy and swinging the saw around puts a lot of strain on that. I'd like to get some sort of bracket put in there to reinforce it. And there's a clip right there on the top of the saw, and that's meant to hold the cord for the adapter that the saw works with. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to notch out the bottom so that a piece of sheet metal can go through. And then I'm going to cut a piece of sheet metal to the right size, drill a hole in it, and then bend it into an L shape so that it will bolt down to the back of the saw with that clip. And it will also go up inside that upper hose clamp, and then I can clamp that tight.